if we want to fight and have sectarian violence or sectarian war in Iraq, I should fight my cousins. Or a wife should fight her husband. So we will have sectarian violence in our bedrooms before we have it in the streets.
Naba Saleem Hamid is a professor of biology at the University of Baghdad. Educated in Iraq and in England, Dr. Hamid sees herself as a non-political person who refused to join the Baath Party during the Saddam Hussein regime. On a visit to California, she describes the conditions in Iraq before the war and how life has changed in her country since the U.S. invasion of 2003.
So it was, life at that time was, for me, it was very satisfying. I go work, live my life. He suffered because they opposed him, actually. The people in the southern part of Iraq, especially in the marshes areas, which is a huge, huge part of the southern Iraq, thousands, 100,000 of them fled the country, thousands killed and assassinated, and the north, of course, the Kurds as well. If you compare this life with what we have now, you can tell the difference. At that time, everybody knows, if you are not affiliated to Baath Party, you have one enemy, Saddam Hussein and his group. And if you avoid this group, you are safe. Now, we don't know the number of enemies we have in the country. Although you are independent, you are not belonging to anybody, but there are parties, there are militias, American troops there, gangs. You know, before the invasion in 2003, Saddam Hussein released from prisons 100,000 criminals, and some of them accused with huge crimes, and all of them released free to the streets. So now we have 100,000 criminals among us. We have the Qaeda, of course, Qaeda people. They came to Iraq to fight America, and the borders are open, loose, not protected, so very easy for them to be in Iraq and stay in Iraq. And we have the, you know, it's strange. Sometimes they, when they have the police, Iraqi police or the army, they catch some of those terrorists and they announce their nationalities. They are from all over the world, from Russia, from Somalia, from everywhere they are coming to Iraq to fight America. And just imagine, the country turned to a very weak state after invasion. Even they are announced that they are training, I don't know the number of military and the police, but a very superficial training, a very short period, about 2 weeks, with a very old arms. They give them very old arms to use, and this is not enough to have a strong security in the country. So we civilians, we find ourselves, we are floating in environment which is very unstable, very scary. We are afraid to talk because we don't know with whom we're going to talk. And probably they will attack us if we will talk. And we find ourselves surrounded by enemies from every direction. And it is very, very, really very difficult and very hard to think about this. We don't have rest, you know. I myself, if I talk about myself, I don't have rest in my life and during the past 3.5 years, even at my home. You know, helicopters, usually they go into the American helicopters. They go in pairs on a very low heights. All the day and night they are roaming in this in the sky over our heads, and when they pass by, if we are talking, we stop because we can't hear each other. I can feel my house, the place I'm sitting in, every brick of it shivering from the movement, the glass. It's horrible, horrible, you know. And the shooting during day and night, and it's horrible. Very difficult life, very difficult. You know, our talks in Iraq, frustration, fear, despair, and hatred. Hatred to everything. Hatred to even to ourselves. Why this happened to us? Hatred to Saddam Hussein, who gave the chance to America to do this. Saddam Hussein gave America a step in the Middle East in '91. The troops came to the Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, and a huge embassy in Qatar. Everybody knows this. They hate America because what America did to Iraqis, not only after invasion, but even when they support Saddam Hussein during the Iraqi-Iranian war, when America and 33 nations joined America to fight Iraqis in '91, and I emphasize on the word Iraqis, not Saddam Hussein. And then the terrible sanctions for 13 years, and lately the invasion and what's happening in Iraq. This is the feeling of Iraqis. No joy in life, live in darkness, physical darkness, and spirit darkness. Let me describe to you one day in my life in Baghdad. I will start from, say, 6 o'clock in the morning. Usually I sleep very little. This is my body pattern. I sleep between 4 and 4.5 hours a day, and which is very good for me because I have time to do more work. Let us start at 6 o'clock, and at that time I'm very, very exhausted. Not because, as I told you, I usually sleep very little, but when I can't get even this little period of time because there is no electricity and it's very, very hot. I'm sweating in my bed. Although it is very dangerous to go to sleep in the garden outside, I do it several times. I take a bed sheet and a pillow and I will go outside, sleep on the floor. It's terribly hot, completely darkness, mosquitoes, because there is no the environment is unclean, no hygiene in the country. Again, I can't sleep. I go inside my bedroom, waiting for sunlight to come. Well, I need to have shower. Sometimes there is no water for shower. I can't have it. And of course, if it is in the winter, I can't have it at all because I don't have hot water at home, no electricity. And sometimes for weeks there is no cooking gas. So I can't make a cup of coffee for myself because there is no electricity and no cooking gas. My temper starts to increase. Okay, I look for something to eat. Of course, there is no electricity, means no fridge is working. Can't keep any food fresh to eat. I eat whatever I have. And then I want to dress up and go to work. I hate myself actually because I feel I need to be acceptable, to accept myself and to be acceptable from others. I can't. Anyhow, I have to go to the street to have taxi. I can't drive my car. I haven't used my car for 4 years, during the whole period since the invasion time. My car in the garage. It's very dangerous to drive in Baghdad. Streets are very congested. About half of the streets are either completely blocked or semi-blocked. The number of cars probably more than the number of people in the streets. And of course, for a woman now to drive, it's very risky. Gangs. I have a BMW car, which is tempting for gangs, for theft, and looting. So I might get a bullet and my car will taken. No traffic signals in the streets, of course, because no electricity, no laws controlling the traffic movement in the streets. And the most terrible thing, when we are in taxis, I'm talking about taxi, and we pass by American troops in their tanks. If something happens somewhere and there is a shoot, they start to shoot randomly. And bullets fall on the heads of people like raindrops. And if they want to move fast, of course we have to step aside and keep off a distance 100 meters from them. There is a sign, keep off 100 meters off. Say they want to pass us, okay, and we are far from them. They move over the car in front of them, smash it like a piece of hamburger, and they move. And they don't care what happened to the people in the car. There is no car, of course. No car, just something flat. Or sometimes they make U-turn in the street. They jump over whatever in front of them and they make the turn. It's horrible. So this is only one day, of course, just a few hours in the morning. And what about the rest? How to clean my house, how to prepare the food, for laundry, for going for shopping. We live burning our brain cells with things which you never think about. Tell me how a person can be productive or creative and he lives such kind of life for 3.5 years, and before that under dictatorship for 3.5 decades. What do you call this? I don't know. Is there anything in, if you go back to history and dig in the history, can you give me one example similar to this? I doubt. I doubt. But it happened in my college. I was walking between two departments, and a strange man approached me. He's in his mid-30s. I can't remember his face very well. He's wearing pants and a shirt. He's putting something on his head. I can't remember exactly how it looked. And he said, I thought he's asking for help when he approached me. And he said, well, he said it quietly actually, not shouting. Why you are not wearing scarf on your head, and why you are wearing pants? It was shocking actually. I told my husband. Well, when he said this, I said, please go and preach somebody else, not me. And when I said this to my husband, he said, well, what you said is very dangerous. He can do whatever he wants. He can beat you. He can do, I don't know what but thanks God, he just stepped away. And after that, of course, I don't walk in the street wearing pants. Usually I use taxis, I said, so I'm not walking in the streets. And after that, I start to have scarf in my purse, just in case I need it. And if we talk about Shias and Sunnis, which are the two major sects of Muslims in Iraq, they are not new. They are, these two groups were in Iraq since the first period of Islam, 1400 years. They lived together. They of course, we are intermingled marriages. I am half Shia and half Sunni. And I have 4 uncles. All of them, of course, they are Shia. All of them married to Sunni women. My cousins are Sunnis and Shias. If we want to fight and have sectarian violence or sectarian war in Iraq, I should fight my cousins. Or a wife should fight her husband. So we will have sectarian violence in our bedrooms before we have it in the streets. And this is impossible. This is impossible. What's happening in Iraq, and no Iraqi love to see Iraq divided or segregated. Iraq should continue to be one piece of cake. We eat it, not foreigners. It's ours, it's mine. But this could happen, sectarian could happen, if the bad guys will continue to implement their actions in the country. Terrorists, Saddam's men, Al-Qaeda, and America. America started this in Iraq. You know, during Saddam Hussein, at people's level, there is no talk about sector. Probably at the government level, yes, Saddam tried to use this, but it doesn't work. After invasion, and of course, all the institutes vanished, no government, nothing at all. So what the clever America did, they start to rebuild again, which is very difficult. It's hard to put everything down and want to build it back. And of course, everything loose in the country. Everything is very, what do you call it? It's a slips. No ties, everything broken in the country. So Mr. Bremer decided to establish the first government in the country. They chose, I don't know how they chose 25 person. And they chose them from different sectors in the community and divide the political positions among them, but they need basis for that. The only thing they have, they divided on sectors and religion. And some people love power. So everybody wants to protect the power they get. And this is started. This is the beginning. After 4 governments, now we have the 4th one in 3 years, 4th one. Each government, every group wants to keep what they gain from Mr. Bremer. So it's continued to be on sector and religious basis. Most Iraqis wish this will disappear. We don't want it this way. We don't want it this way. Iraqis believe that any patriot, neutral, educated Iraqi could fit in this position or that position, has good intention to help people, help country intact, keep the country intact and unified, will be a very good leader in the country. I came here actually to talk to Americans, try to be more extrovert, open yourself to the world, try to learn more about the others, build bridges and cross your border to the outer world. Americans live in arrogance and the feeling of superiority above the rest, which is unacceptable and not good, not for us, not good for Americans themselves. And you know, this is not the way to make yourself in the first line among others. You can be on the first line with good discipline, good manners, supportive, warm-hearted, care person, but not with imposing yourself on others and show them that I am better than you, I know more than you, stop using the word I. It's not good. And I doubt that American people feel, now it is the end of 2006, I doubt they feel better and safer than 2002 or 2003. And if this will continue, more fear and more despair and more violence all over the world, not only in my country or in the East, everywhere. I would like to say there is no safe zone on this globe if we continue to use the same tactics in our life. And what's going now in Iraq is very dangerous, not only for us Iraqis. It is dangerous for the region and dangerous for the whole world. I describe Iraq now like an abscess in my body or in your body, in a inflamed area. You have to cure it, because if you don't, these germs will spread all over the body and ultimately will kill you. We have to work on that with much care, that inflamed part of the world will affect all of us and will put danger on our lives and our children and nature, and we have to work on this. We have to wake up that enough for violence, enough for bloodshed, enough for hatred. You know, I need you and you need me. Nobody can live independently. Never. Never. This is life. This is life. You need a bird, you need a tree, you need a human, you need everything. You can't live by yourself. We have to work on that.